Hey friends!
So welcome back. We're back today here at Universal Studios Orlando for some Halloween Horror Nights update.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in there.
So much has gone up in each and every scare zone. Everything is coming together and we are getting so close to Halloween Horror
We're like
Nights.
3 weeks away, right?
Exactly.
To the day.
Yep. 3 weeks exactly from today.
There's a lot of food booths up, so we got a lot to show you guys. So let's just get on in there and get going. I think we might even sit down and actually do our hype list.
Yeah.
We discussed it on the car ride here, and I think we got our list. So
yes, we are
let's
ready.
get in there.
So before we even walk into the park, it looks like they are finally finished up with this side of the turnstile. So both brand new turnstiles look like they're ready for operation. Doesn't look like they're busy enough to get this side open today, but hope to see it open soon. As you guys can see, we're in the first scare zone. This scare zone is going to be Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horrors. So, as you guys can see, this scare zone is now a lot closer to the front of the park. So now it's basically, as soon as you walk through the front gates, you're walking directly into a scare zone, which I think is very exciting because normally you have to walk through a little bit of the normal production kind of boulevard, and then in between Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, and what used to be the Shrek building, used to be the first scare zone. But now it's basically you walk directly into the park and you walk directly into the scare zone.
There's nowhere to hide,
There's
nowhere to go.
To hide. And as you can see, it looks like there's a platform up there. So I think that Dr. Oddfellow himself is going to be welcoming you into the event from up there as soon as you walk into the park. So we're very excited for this scare zone, and I'm very excited to see what it brings, because this scare zone is said to be the table of contents type scare zone for the event. So basically any and every creature that's in all the other scare zones are going to be featured in this scare zone as well at all different times. So every time you walk through this scare zone, you're going to get a different experience.
So right when you walk in, you're going to come through Dr. Oddfellow's scare zone, and then you're going to turn over by the Universe store, and we actually found our first stage for a scare zone. The only thing is I can't tell if this goes to the Dr. Oddfellow scare zone or the scare zone that's down this way.
And down this way, there's going to be the Dark Zodiac. So let's go over there, and I'll give you some more details on that one.
We got a crowd of Halloween Horror Nights staff. I wonder where they're going. I want to go where they're going.
Yeah. Can I go?
Okay, so for our next scare zone, we're over here in Hollywood, and we actually have the Dark Zodiac scare zone. So this one is where, in his quest for immortality, Dr. Oddfellow has successfully found a way to take over the Zodiac dimension, twisting all of the Zodiac sign's patron entities there into his devilish creations to be immortal. So this one I think is going to be really cool. I'm so excited that Dr. Oddfellow is kind of like, has a piece in every scare zone. So while we're here, let's go check out the new Exorcist merch. So we have the shirt, which we've seen. And actually, I really do like the shirt. I like that they're doing some white shirts and switching it up. And then we have the glasses. We're excited for this movie to come out and see the house and everything. Like, doesn't look like there's any more new merch for right now.
I feel like every time we come in here, we always come in the same exact time before some tackler show's coming out. So it's always missing.
We have some of the Stranger Things shirts. We have the hats. I don't think we're ever going to run out of the See You in the Fog mugs. It seems like we have an endless supply of those.
It looks like they ran out of the shirts finally, but they still have the mugs and the hats.
So we made it over to our next scare zone after a quick Starbucks pit stop because it's way too hot out to not have it. So strawberry lemonade frozen is pretty good. But our next scare zone is actually the Jungle of Doom, and this is where it all began for Dr. Oddfellow in the 1920s. He journeyed into the doomed jungles and found a glowing crystal skull, containing the power to absorb and twist the souls to the wielder's whim, extending their life and increasing their strengths by using that crystal skull. He then used the glowing skull to twist different kinds of plants and surrounding animal life, such as the bats, into ravenous monsters, and they are now after all of us. We expect to see various amounts of monsters or creatures throughout the trees, the stones, and maybe even jungle animals that have turned chaotic. So we're super excited for this one. I think this is probably my most anticipated scare zones. I always love the scare zone the most, but after being here, there's so much up. If you guys can make it out here to check it out in the daylight, definitely get out here because I'm so excited. You may notice throughout the Jungle of Doom, we actually have these bats that are hanging above us. And they have 4 pupils that all look like they might light up. So if they do, that's gonna be amazing. We are super excited. We have one here, we have one over here, and we have a couple behind us too. So I'm interested to see if they add any more in the next couple weeks.
This Dark Zodiac Scare Zone is definitely the smallest scare zone in the park this year. But every time they put a scare zone over here in Central Park, it is always a hit because it's always so dark, it's so immersive. It's probably,
And all the trees are like covering you. It's amazing.
This is definitely, it may be the smallest scare zone, but don't let the size of it fool you. It is usually one of the most immersive scare zones throughout the whole event. Okay, so now we're in the Shipyard 32 scare zone. And this scare zone is basically Shipyard 32 is a location where Dr. Oddfellow has a warehouse. And in that warehouse is his collection of dark artifacts and creatures. But one day, these creatures get loose and start causing havoc on all the dock workers and all the townspeople, and Dr. Oddfellow catches Dr. Oddfellow's attention. But instead of him stopping it, he comes and joins the slaughter and completely kills anybody in his path. So basically, if you're going through this Shipyard 32 scare zone, if you're not going to survive, Dr. Oddfellow is going to come again. So beware of the man. Yeah, so I've been listening to this Discover Universal podcast, and they've been giving me a lot of kind of behind the scenes or like more in-depth details on the scare zone and haunted houses and all that stuff for this year. And this year in Vamp 69, it kind of gives them more details of what the streets are going to look like and all that kind of stuff. But it also kind of gives you a hint of when the vampires are going to strike. So back in when Vamp 85 was playing and was here for Halloween Horror Nights, the ball dropping is what made the vampires come out and start attacking people. But this year, it's going to be when a band called the Cat and the Gemstones come playing. So whenever those guys come on stage, make sure you keep an eye out for all the vampires. And if you guys want to go check out that podcast, it's called the Discover Universal Podcast.
Yeah, we'll have it linked below for you guys.
Yep, it's awesome. I can't stop listening to it. As you can see, I'm standing in front of a big, beautiful, colorful bus. And this bus is not the first time we've seen it here at Halloween Horror Nights. This bus has been here many, many times before. For example, back in 2017, they had the bus right across from where the exit of the Mummy is, and it was in the Purge scare zone. But the cool thing is 10 years ago, when Halloween Horror Nights did a full theme park scare zone of The Walking Dead, this was right outside of the exit of Disaster, which is now the exit of Fast and Furious. So this bus has been in and around Universal Studios Orlando for 10 or more years, and I think that's probably one of the coolest things coming to Horror Nights is seeing them take the same props and reuse them year after year. Like, you can even see some of the windows are still kind of broken from whatever they had it in the Purge scare zone. So each little Easter egg like that just makes it more and more fun for us to come to Horror Nights each year.
So in the front of the park, we actually have some of the food booths up. So right now we have the Stranger Things one over here, across from Transformers, and then we're gonna have The Last of Us here. We saw Chucky in the back, and then we'll show you guys if we see any other ones in the front of the park.
It actually looks like they're setting up the Transformer Extended Queue usual HHN bar, but actually this year it looks like they kind of put it over to the side so the queue is a little bit longer and it looks bigger. So if you guys get your drinks at Halloween Horror Nights, come here.
So it's not a booth, but we have a food truck added over here as well.
And this is the first time that I think I've ever seen a food truck in this location. But I don't know if this one is designated for Halloween Horror Nights or for just any daytime use. It's not open right now, but stay tuned because if it's for Horror Nights, we're going to see what's here.
Okay, friends, so we went and took a lap around. We showed you guys the scare zones, gave you a little bit more information about what to expect in them, and now we're going to do our Halloween Horror Nights ranking, our hype list, like our anticipation. So for number 10, I think we actually have the same one.
Yeah, I think so.
But Blood Moon.
Yeah, Blood Moon I'm excited for, but I'm not like too crazy excited for. I don't really know
It's the one
so.
I know the least about.
Yeah.
So number 9, mine is actually Chucky. So I like Chucky. I love the Chucky movie, but I haven't seen the show. So for that, I put it at 9. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is right now is The Darkest Deal. Same thing as Blood Moon. I don't really know too crazy much about it. and I don't know what to anticipate in it, so I'm just excited for the series.
The next, I have The Exorcist. So that is my number 8. The movie hasn't come out yet, so
Yes, 8, right? But yeah, number 8 is Chucky, because
kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
You haven't really watched the
Yeah.
show too much.
I mean, I watched the first season and a half, I think, but I just think that there's a lot of other houses that I'm more anticipated for. So.
My next one is The Darkest Deal. So ours lists are kind of similar. They're just kind of rearranged a little bit. But yeah, The Darkest Deal next for me. So I do know a little bit more about that one in the backstory. So that has intrigued me a little bit more versus before. Before that was probably my number 10. Now I'm definitely a little bit more anticipated for that one.
Number 7 is Yeti.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, like
My number 6 is Yeti, actually. So.
okay, so yep, so Yeti, the same thing. Like I love the Yeti house from a couple years ago, but I like there's just more things that I'm more excited for.
Yeah, I love the snow and the Yetis and how cold it was. So because I love that house so much, I'm a little bit nervous that this house isn't going to live up to the hype for me. But I'm sure we're wrong. I'm sure it's going to be amazing because I love the Yeti. So I think it's going to be good. But it is at number 6 for me. So, but my number 5 is The Last of Us. I'm currently watching this show. So I have a feeling by the time I finish the show, it'll definitely be higher up on the list. But right now, I think I'm going to leave it pretty neutral at number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Universal Monsters. And I put it directly in the middle because Universal Monsters, the first time it was here, I loved it insanely because that was definitely one of my favorite houses that year. Last year when it came back, once again, it was an amazing house. Wasn't one of our favorites, but it was a good house, so I figured number 5 would be a perfect place for Monsters.
Yeah, actually, it's my number 4. So Monsters is my number 4 for same reasons. And then my number 3 is going to be Dr. Oddfellow. What are your 3 and 4?
My number 4 is Stranger Things, because Stranger Things is amazing. We just recently rewatched the last season, so we're excited for that house to come. And then my number 3 is The Last of Us. I've watched all of the series, I've watched the walkthrough of the game, and I think it's going to be a really great house.
Yeah, I agree. To our top 2.
Yes.
So my number 2 is Stranger Things. I know a lot of people aren't as excited that Stranger Things is coming back, but I think this is going to be the best Stranger Things house. I think season 4 was meant for more nights. I think that they are going to do amazing with it. The last Stranger Things house was insane for what, 2 and 3, season 2 and 3 combined. Was amazing. How are you not excited for season 4? Vecna, Eddie. I'm so excited for that one.
Okay, my number 2 is Dueling Dragons. Unfortunately, I was never able to ride the roller coaster before I became a roller coaster fanatic, but just the story behind the ride itself makes me very excited for the house.
Yes. So Dueling Dragons is actually my number 1. I'm so excited for this house. I love Dueling Dragons. I love that this is kind of a tie into that and a little tribute. And I also love that we're going to get another house where the endings are different.
Yes.
So I believe there's going to be 2 or 4 different ways that it could end. So I'm really excited for that one. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Dr. Oddfellow. I think that this is my number 1 because of the 30th anniversary and the HHN Icons house.
Yeah.
That house will always, in forever and time,
That's
be
our
my
number 1 house
favorite
forever.
house forever. That house was completely amazing, and I'm just excited to hopefully get something in that realm.
So, but I think that's all we have time for this week. So we will see you guys next week. If you like this video, give us a like,
Comment.
and subscribe. And yeah, comment down your most anticipated house. We want to know. We're
Yes,
excited.
let us know.
We just got our tickets today.
Yes.
So usually we get them a little earlier. So we were slacking, but we got our frequent fear
the plus, not
yes.
the second to highest one.
Yeah, so
Every
we'll
Sunday
be there
through Friday.
every Friday and Sunday. Come hang out with us. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
See you in the fog.
Love you, bye.